Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Ormark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And we are in our series of back-to-back handmade Christmas ideas. And today we're going to make a really beautiful, very sweet little box, which will be an ideal little favour box to put something in on the Christmas table. And I've decorated it with little robins, and we've got a robin on each one of the sides of the little box. It's a little hinged box, so it opens up, and inside I've got one of those little round lip balms that you can get at the moment, and I thought that that would make a nice little gift to go in there. Fits perfectly. You could put a Ferrero Rocher chocolate, you could put some of the Godiva chocolates, you can put all sorts of little things. It makes an alternative to a cracker at the Christmas table, and we're going to make it today. So we're using the Quite Curvy, and we're using the little birds on here, which I absolutely love. This is a new stamp set with obviously curves in it, but we're using just the little robins. The coordinating curvy dies has the die cuts to actually cut the robins out. So there's 3 different types of robins. There's 3 dies to cut them out, plus lots of others to give you the curves. So that's what we're using today. And I have prepared some of it beforehand, so hopefully the video won't be too long. So we need to start with a piece of cardstock. I'll put the little pieces I've already prepared out. So we need a piece of cardstock which measures 6.5 inches by 4.5 inches. And we're going to get the scoreboard out and we're going to do some scoring. So we need to get that in for us. So on the 6.5 inch side, we are going to score it at 1.5 inches. We're going to score it at 3 inches. We're going to score it at 4.5 inches. And we're going to score it at 6 inches. And then we're going to turn it onto the short side, which is the 4.5 inches. And we're going to score it at 1/2 inch. We're going to score it at 2 inches. And we're going to score it at 3.5 inches. Now, don't worry too much about all of the scoring if you haven't got it, because I will put all the measurements in the description box below. So all of the projects that I've made, all of the details for measurements will be below in the description box. So we are going to burnish this on all of the score lines. Now, because we're doing it with cardstock, it's going to be a nice sturdy little box. And the box itself is 1.5 inches and is a little cube, so it's 1.5 by 1.5 by 1.5. So let's just burnish this all the way down. And then we'll just do it on the last one. Okay, so we have put it that way, we have a little tiny strip piece down here, we have a smaller piece at the bottom, and we have a larger piece at the top. Now we're going to take our paper snips, and the small pieces at the top here, we are going to just cut down each one of them. So just cut them down like that, and then you've got this little tiny strip down here, and we only need to keep this second piece. So if we cut the little piece off from here, and then we can do it in a little wedge. we can take the other piece out in a wedge, and then we can cut all of this away. Like that. Okay, so when the box goes together, we are going to have a lid that comes and closes. So the nearest piece to this little wedge is the piece that we're going to keep. The rest we're going to take away. So we can take right from here all the way down to this last one, and then we're going to keep this last one because that gives us the little lid to the box so that it closes nicely like that. So you can use these little pieces to do little pieces for the center of the card, and I might show you some of those at a later stage. Then this little tab here, we are going to just slightly wedge it. Not too much, because otherwise it will open and won't stay shut, but just a little bit. So that's what we end up with it looking like. Okay, now what I am going to do is just very slightly take out the score line. It just helps it close at the bottom a little bit better. So you're literally taking out not a wedge, just an actual sliver, and it's really just cutting away the score line, which then just makes it just a little bit tighter in the closing. So it's not really a wedge, it's more just a little tiny sliver, so the score line is taken out, and then just a little bit on the end piece here. But you can see it's not a huge amount, so it's really a sliver rather than a wedge. So you can see on here they really are tiny little slivers and not wedges, but it just helps it close a little bit better. Okay, so we are then going to close the bottom of the box here. The first bit we can do is to close this piece first on here. So this little tab, we can put some wet glue in. So let's just put some wet glue in on here. Now you can put tear and tape, you can put the Seal Plus, any sort of strong thing. As you know, I prefer, particularly with boxes and things, the wet glue, because it means that I know that it's going to seal right up tight. And if we just put it down, the easiest way to make sure that it is sticking nicely with the wet glue is turn it round on both sides, and with your bone folder just give it a press. It means that it then closes very nicely. Okay, so we now need to put this is the back of the box where the back of the lid is, so we need to close these pieces in. So we can put the two side pieces in first, we can put the back piece in, and if we just put a little bit of wet glue on here, and we can put that one in that way, and then we'll just put a little bit of wet glue in on here, and that one will close in that way. And the nice thing with wet glue is that you can just square it up as you go. So if we put it up on this side, we can make sure that it's nice and square, and then just take our bone folder inside and make sure that that has sealed nicely. So you've now got your little square, and then this little piece is just going to fit in. And you can see, because I haven't taken too much of a wedge out of this, it closes beautifully. Okay, now we're going to go about decorating it. Now you can put your pieces on afterwards. I always say, if you're doing something with directional paper, it's as easy to put your pieces on afterwards. So we have cut, these are 1.5 inches square, and I've chosen the classic Christmas papers, which are the lovely 6x6 papers that go with this Curvy stamp set. And we're going to put one in on the top. Now I've cut these at 1.25, so you have a little 1/4 inch border on here. And again, I'm using wet glue because it allows it to just go, and you've got a bit of wriggle room on there. So let's put these pieces in on each one of the sides. So again, just put them in where they're centered. Have another one in on there. So it's quite easy to do them when they're actually put together, because you then, it's easy to make sure that you have them exactly where you want them. You can, as I say, do it before you've made the box up, but I quite often do things when the box has been made up because it's just as easy to do, and you have that little bit of wiggle room on there. Okay, so we can then get this one in on here like that. Okay, now I haven't done one at the bottom, and in fact I am going to do one at the bottom. So let me just get my trimmer in, because I think it's quite nice when you're doing a box when you have them on all sides. So I've still got a little piece of this paper cut out, so I just need one more. So it's 1.25, and then we're going to take another one which is just 1.25 inches square. So put that down, cut that out, so that gives me my other piece that I want, and this will go in on the bottom, and it just finishes it off. You're not going to see the bottom, but if you're doing a cube, it's quite nice to do all of the sides, and because they're only little 1.25 inch pieces, you can get quite a few. So let's just pop this one down in on the bottom like that. Just slide it up. There we go. Okay, so we've got all of our little pieces done. Let me make sure I've got where the top is. Can I find it once it's made? It's I think it's in on here. Just shows how well the little box has gone together, because I can't find the, is it on this bit? Is it on that bit? Ooh. There we go. Okay, so that is our centerpiece. You can put a little thumb hole in, but because we are doing the little robins, you don't really need to do it, because you know that the robins are going to be facing in the right direction and you're going to fill it from the top. So I have just die cut out, and what I tend to do is, so on here I've stamped a whole row of them, coloured them all in, and then you can die cut 3 out at a time, which saves a little bit of time. So we are going to be using some mini dimensionals, and we are just going to put, I've got 5 little robins, because obviously we don't want a robin on the bottom. So I've got 3 of these and 2 of the others. So we're going to have this one in on the top. Like this, and we'll just put him straight in the center. Then I can have this one in on, I can pick him up. This one can go in on the front. So I have the different birds in the different positions. So that one can go in on there. We're going to have these two because they are the same. They're going to go on these side pieces. So let's put this on one side, this in on the other side. So we can have this one in on here, this one in on the other side. And then we'll have this one in on the back. But I think that robins are just so Christmassy. They really are the festive season. A lovely robin, and on this little box it just makes it look so pretty with 3 different types of robin on there. And then obviously you know that that's going to be the top because you've got your little robin facing in that direction. And as I say, with this one I've taken the little lip balms, and you can get them from all sorts of places. They're sort of little round ones, and they're quite nice, and as I say, they do make a nice little gift. So pop one of those in there and close it up, and you've got a sweet little table favour or a little gift to give to somebody for the Christmas season. So it's the Quite Curvy that we used, which again is this new stamp set which is out and available now. And I think that they're just absolutely delightful. Do them in different colours, you know, just have them as table favours, and I think that they make lovely little gifts. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe, please stay well, and please be kind. And please come back and see me for the next one in the series. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.